governance, respect for human rights, the rule of law, and empowering citizens through decentralization and local governance at the heart of the reform agenda.
Chairman Marina is the Solicitor General of the Gambia. The government top legal advisor highlighted critical undertaking being implemented to restore human rights and good governance in the Gambia, while stressing the importance of collective participation by the citizenry.
We also have among the pillars of this transitional justice project criminal law and media law reforms. And these criminal law and media law reforms are intended to actually build on the inclusiveness that we have spoken about earlier, to open up the democratic space, and of course to make sure that there is respect for fundamental human rights for all citizens. We also have among these pillars the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission, which Madam Ade has just touched on briefly. I mean, the whole idea of this commission, I mean, which is to heal the wounds of the past. We are all aware of the massive and gross human rights violations that have taken place in this country in the past 2 decades.
As the UN continues to support the Gambia's development efforts to eradicate poverty and build a fair and just society, organizers are hoping the forum will serve as a learning curve for participants. Saidu Kamara, GRTS News.
China's $60 billion new Beijing airport project under construction is among the great achievements of its past 5 years under the guidance of President Xi Jinping. The airport, whose completion is anticipated in 2019, when completed, will be the world's largest airport. Rohibite visited the construction site and she reports.
Beijing's new $60 billion airport is a major project highlighting China's infrastructural advance, a landmark of the capital and a defining powerhouse of national development. The project started in 2014 under the leadership of President Xi Jinping. The new ultra-modern structure is positioned to be a large international travel hub situated between Beijing and Hebei province. The focus, as revealed by Mr. Su Wengseng, spokesperson of the construction scheme, is to build a model, safe and clean airport with the highest attainable standard. China is looking to invest state-of-the-art airport management technologies in the project, envisaged by the Chinese Communist Party as it moves to consolidate its power through President Xi Jinping.
那么这个工程呢，从开始规划的初期就得到了我们政府的高度的重视。
So the project at Beijing Airport has always been a major national project for China. And from the very beginning stage of our construction, the project has attracted great importance.
Attracting global attention, the new airport is the largest transport hub in China, with a long-term plan to register an annual passenger flow exceeding 100 million. The project will cover an area of 45 square kilometers with 6 runways. Constructors aim to build a transportation system whose main arteries are 4 expressways with several other world-class features. It is the first time China attempts to achieve a seamless connection of comprehensive transportation.
And Fatoto Pasamas Road Bridge. The team was led by the Chinese ambassador to the Gambia, His Excellency Zhang Jiming. The Chinese ambassador extended sincere gratitude to the ministry for facilitating the visit and underscored the timing and relevance of this project as signals of renewed and sustainable bilateral cooperation between the Gambia and China. He informed the meeting that this project comes at the heels of the International Conference Center project, which has already begun in earnest. Another manifestation of the recognition by the government of China of the Gambia's development aspirations. For his part, the Honorable Minister Bailamin Job extended profound appreciation to the government of the People's Republic of China on behalf of the government of the Gambia for yet another demonstration of friendship and bilateral cooperation between the two countries. He mentioned that government of the Gambia attached great importance and urgency to the construction of the road and bridges, as it will complete the South Bank trunk route, which will address substantial socio-economic development of the Gambia, especially the rural inhabitants. Women's Bureau, in collaboration with Tostan, an international NGO supported by UNICEF, Sunday organized a day cross-border meeting with Senegalese authorities in the Upper River settlement of Sutuma Samba. The meeting discussed ways of ending female genital mutilation and other important issues. Kumbaba reports.
The Gambia and the Senegalese authorities is aimed at discussing issues surrounding the practices of female genital mutilation, as well developed an action plan, share experiences and information for the benefit of the two sister countries. Considering the health effects and other challenges associated with FGM as a violation of human rights, the Executive Director, Women's Bureau, Binta Jame Sidibe, described the commission as a worthy cause. She further called on religious leaders to actively participate in the fight against FGM.
This is the first ever cross-border conference we are having between Gambian authorities and Senegalese authorities on FGMC, because we have put down so many strategies that should work, but we have discovered that Senegal has criminalized against FGMC, and as you know, the Gambia also, with the Women's Amendment Act of 2015, has criminalized against FGMC, which means it has been outlawed. It's no longer allowed according to our laws of the Gambia. But we have realized that even though these laws are in place, but still people are practicing FGMC and other forms of harmful traditional practices.
Tostan, an international NGO supported by UNICEF, has been in operation for the past 10 years and continues to play a crucial role in advocating for the welfare of women and the girl child.
Basically, our activities, as the name itself implies, it is a holistic program, meaning it does not only cover one aspect, but then it is a combination of issues that are discussed that Tostan, based on research and its interaction with the community since its inception in late 1980s, is learning more from the realities of the communities. So this is where Tostan Community Empowerment Program is a 3-year program that involves program modules based on human rights, democracy, good governance, problem-solving processes, hygiene and health, literacy, numeracy, project management, SMS texting, etc. So all these are involved.
More than 60 communities in the Upper River region are said to have benefited from a sensitization training campaign to end the practices of FGM. Despite the challenges, the governor of the Upper River region reassured her office's commitment to further sensitize people on the harmful practices.
We'll continue the sensitization because, you know, this is towards attitudinal change, and it is very hard to change attitudes. So, and the best way to change attitudes is to sensitize those that you want to change. It cannot be a force. Though there are legal instruments on the ground that are geared towards ending this practice, but we think through sensitization and forums like the one that we just witnessed today will help us change many attitudes. And at the end, the generation to come may not practice it at all.
A joint security force was recognized by authorities to strengthen the smoke.
We apologize for that interruption of the story. Well, that story takes us to our first break. We'll be back with sports news. Welcome back. Bakau defeated Lamin 1-0 in match day 3 of the 2017 Super Nawetan Championship. The two teams played out a tense encounter in front of their traveling fans at the Serekunda East Mini Stadium. Muru Lamin Sane reports.
Lamen suffered a setback in their first outing of the ongoing zonal championship after a 1-0 loss to coastal heavyweights Bagau at the SB Park. The encounter between these two giants was frantic, and it was Lamen who started brightly in the first half. And with fine tactics, they created goal-scoring chances but failed to finish them off. Bagau responded and scored when Lamin Demba netted what turns out to be the winning goal for the Bagau side. Coming back into second half, Bagau maintained their dominance and denied Lamin from leveling the scores. Bagau were reduced to 10 men after Ibrahima II received a second booking. Lamin failed to take advantage of the extra man and they lost the game 1-0.
This was the same team I presented for Serekunda Central, yet still I presented it, and then now I saw some lapses, and then I think this is why we registered 30 players, and then they will all come back for training, and then I will make sure that I introduce a team that will win.
Play against 11, 10 against 11, definitely, because I'm under pressure also, we need result. But what people miss, always we struggle in group stage. So this time I'm assuring them that we're going to win, and at least we bring the trophy to Bagau.
Bagau sits jointly on top of the group with fellow leaders Gunjur, who secured 3 unanswered goals against Serekunda Central. Next up for Lamen is a potential explosive tie against defending champions Gunjur, a game they can't afford to lose. Reporting for GRTS Sports, I am Lamin Sane.
From sports, we go to news beyond our borders. Strong support continues to pour in as Mogadishu deals with one of its worst strategies in decades. Young activists are among those leading the recovery efforts as families continue to seek answers about their loved ones. CGTN's Abdul Aziz Bilo is following the developments in the Horn of African nation and sent us this report.
This is the busiest section at the National Emergency Center. Inside, teams of volunteers from local universities and the diaspora have teamed up to create a database for missing persons since 14th October's truck bomb in KM5, the city's busiest junction. Social media is their main source of information, with hundreds submitting photos and names of missing relatives, mostly presumed dead or alive.
Because of the scale of the tragedy, I mean, so many people are missing in the air. Some of them have evaporated in the air. Some of them are missing their families. So our job here as ICT is just to make sure that the people find their loved ones, and also to gather the information and know who are the people died, who are the kids, the siblings, people under the age, the elder, and then also identify what are their needs are.
The death toll has surpassed 300 according to official government data, and this is the first exclusive aerial footage of Saturday's blast. It captures the massive destruction caused by the truck bomb at one of the city's most populous areas. So far, there's still no claim of responsibility.
This is a new tactic, they changed it, and we need to see how that lorry came close to the people where it caused havoc. So it has all the hallmarks of terrorism, and the only enemy that Somali people has is the terrorist group Al-Shabaab, but definitely it is Al-Shabaab who carried out that heinous and barbaric attack.
It's by far the country's worst terrorist attack, and for now, this government-run emergency operations center remains their only source of hope. Every minute, hundreds come to this center seeking answers about their loved ones, 3 days after a deadly truck bomb here in downtown Mogadishu. Authorities say they are faced with logistical challenges. Hospitals are unable to identify corpses, with many burnt beyond recognition.
Blood bank is not available in Somalia. We don't have DNA systems or intelligence to really verify the dead bodies that were unidentifiable. So those are the technical assistance that we would hope that our international partners will quickly provide to us.
Turkey was the first to respond, sending in 10 tons of medical aid and airlifting 35 serious cases to Ankara. The United States, Kenya and Qatar have since followed suit in a show of solidarity with Somalia as it comes to terms with what many are now terming as the Mogadishu massacre. China also condemned the attack, promising its unwavering support in Somalia's fight against terrorism. with France switching off the Eiffel Tower in solidarity with the victims of Mogadishu's truck bomb. Abdulaziz Bilo, CGTN, Mogadishu, Somalia.
And before we take leave of you, a recap of the day's main stories. The Ujane Commission has quizzed more witnesses about withdrawals and expenditure of hundreds of millions of dollars on the directives of former President Jammeh. A united force in development, NAMs in the West Coast region have joined forces in pursuit of national development. Bakau has crushed Lamin on match day 2 of the Zonal Championship. Well, that was all in this edition of the News at 10. Thanks for the pleasure of your company. The Commission of Inquiry continues.